Hello, Skye.
Hello, Thundercloud.
Hey, hello out there in the world of wherever you are. Welcome to Chillin Tuesday on this day, the 27th of March. No, 7th. 7th of March. Yeah, I was thinking it was February still. It's March. Time marches on. And we got a children's special tonight with I've got CJ Denis and you've got
I've got Kevin Gilbert.
Yep.
And I'm going to read from More Australian Poetry for Fun with Pixie Harris.
Yes. That's a special one for me because I got that I think in 1975 for Christmas, that book. Possibly why I was indoctrinated as a poet from a young age. Yeah. Well, anyway, here I am. Now, a book for kids by CJ Denis. Who was CJ Denis? Well, he was one of the contemporaries of both Banjo Paterson and Henry Lawson. He was born 7th of September 1876 and he died on the 22nd of June 1938 and he was also a journalist. He was best known for his verse novel Songs of a Sentimental Bloke alongside his contemporaries and what else? He helped popularise Australian slang in literature, earning him the title of the laureate of the larrikin. He was born in Auburn, South Australia. His dad owned a pub. He later moved to Gladstone and Laura. His mum was a bit sick. So Clary, as he was known, was raised by his great aunts. Sounds a bit like James and the Giant Peach. I wonder if he rolled down a hill in a peach and flew off. Maybe not. He at 19 he became a solicitor's clerk and well, there you go. He had a poem published. But he's very well known for his kids stuff. So, I've got about quite a few out of here I'm going to read tonight, but not all of them. This book was first published by Angus and Robertson in 1921, and then this edition 1975. Right, I'm going to start with the dedication, not the dedication, but the dedication poem, it's to all good children over 4 and under 4 and 80. Be you not over prone to pore on matters grave and weighty. May hap you'll find within this book some touch of youth's rare clowning, and if you will can descend to look, and not descend to frowning. The mind of one small boy may hold odd fancies and inviting, to guide a hand unsure and old, that moves these days to writing. For hair, once bright in days of yore, grows grey, or somewhat slatty, and now, alas, he's over 4, though under 4 and 80. The dedication. Here's one called The Dawn Dance. What do you think I saw today when I arose at dawn? Blue wrens and yellow tails dancing on the lawn, bobbing here and bowing there, gossiping away, and how I wished that you were there to see the merry play. But you were snug abed, my boy, blankets to your chin, nor dreamed of dancing birds without or sunbeams dancing in, grey thrush He piped the tune for them. I peeped out through the glass between the window curtains, and I saw them on the grass. Merry little fairy folk dancing up and down, blue bonnet, yellow skirt, cloaks of grey and brown, underneath the wattle tree, in silver in the dawn, blue wrens and yellow tails dancing on the lawn. Lovely, hey?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. This is Upon the Road to Rockabout. Upon the road to Rockabout, I came upon some sheep, a large and woolly flock about as wide as it was deep. I was about to turn about to ask the man to tell some things I wished to learn about both sheep and wool as well, when I beheld a rouseabout who lay upon his back beside a little house about a furlong from the track. I had a lot to talk about and said to him good day, but he got up to walk about, and so I went away. So rouseabout, they're like the dudes that sort of pick up the wool in the shed and stuff and do all the jobs, the odd jobs in the wool shed. Here's one called The Baker. I'd like to be a baker and come when morning breaks, calling out, Bieko! That's the sound he makes, riding in a rattle cart that jogs and jolts and shakes, selling all the sweetest things a baker ever bakes. Currant buns and brandy snaps, pastry, all in flakes. But I wouldn't be a baker if I couldn't eat the cakes. Would you? No, maybe, yeah. Probably, yeah. Okay, we're going to skip that one. And here, and then actually that's where I was going to pause, and I was going to head it over to you. Now, you've got Kevin Gilbert there, haven't you?
I do.
Okay, well, I've got a little bit about Kevin Gilbert here from the Wikipedia land. All right, Kevin John Gilbert was born in July 1933, passed away on the 1st of April 1993. He was an Australian Aboriginal author and activist, artist, poet, playwright and printmaker, a Wiradjuri man. He was born on the banks of the Lachlan River in New South Wales. He was the first Aboriginal playwright and printmaker. He was an active human rights defender and was involved in the establishment of the Aboriginal Tent Embassy in 1972, as well as various protests to advocate for Aboriginal Australian sovereignty. Gilbert won the National Book Council Prize for Writers for Living Black Talks to Kevin Gilbert in 1977. He was the youngest of 8 children, born on the banks of the Lachlan or the Kallara or Lachlan River just outside Condobolin. And at age 7, he and his siblings were orphaned. He was raised by his eldest sisters, an extended family on an Aboriginal reserve. He left school at the age of 13 and picked up various seasonal and short-term itinerant jobs. His book, Me and Mary Kangaroo, reflected a childhood of intimate connection to his mother's Wiradjuri country and child's dreaming. And that's the book you're going to be reading out of tonight, Skye.
Child's dreaming.
Yeah. So, yeah, all right. Well, off you go. I'll let you start with
Okay, yep.
the title.
Well, yeah, I'll start with the title, which is Child's Dreaming. Within our hands caress unfold as dreamings flow to love and teach and guide the soul and heart in all the sacred things that we hold dear, and wisdom in our heritage impart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're lovely short little poems, a lot of these, aren't they? Yeah.
Lovely.
And pictures too.
Lovely photographs. Yeah. I'll do the turtle. Turtle likes to travel far, his home upon his back, much better than a caravan or a holiday's shack. Short and sweet.
Well, I knew Kevin Gilbert had spent time in jail, but he actually spent 14 years from murdering his wife.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but in prison he educated himself and developed his artistic talents. Yeah, and it's in prison that he produced his first lino prints. And yeah, so yeah.
That would be good to see.
Yeah. What's next?
What's next? I can read, what is it? The Weevil and the Beetle.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever watched the weevil and the beetle on the grass? They're so courteous to each other, and they each bow as they pass. Good morning, Mr. Weevil. May I cross your territory? With pleasure, Mr. Beetle. You're such pleasant company.
They're just lovely in their
So cute.
simplicity, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we've got the Australian Poetry Slam here happening in August this year. August the 16th and 17th, a heat of it, a heat of the Australian Poetry Slam. And we've also got coming up in November, an Australian Poetry Film Poetry Competition, Poetry Film Festival, and also a poetry festival. That's November.
Yeah.
1st of April, we've got a bush dance here with the big April, the Fool's Bush Dance, the Big Hairy Bush Dance Band, and the 25th of March, Fiore Musicale. Also, Return with St John Passion by J.S. Bach. So look up online on our page www.australianpoetryhalloffame.com.au. Okay, over to you.
A desert pea. Desert pea. Beautiful and red. I stared hard at a desert pea. It had two eyes, it was plain to see. I blinked and I winked. Then I stared again, but it didn't blink back at me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And next?
The desert orange. The desert orange is hard to find, and it's harder to climb the tree. Its fruit is good, its skin is green and full of vitamin C.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever tried a desert orange, have you?
No.
No, we'll have to go to the desert to get one.
We'll have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
looks like fun.
Yeah, climbing a tree.
Climbing a tree.
Yeah.
I loved climbing a tree when I was younger.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. That's what they're for.
Making the branch my home.
Yeah. You'd be like a little bird, wouldn't you, in the tree? Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. What have you got
Me and
there?
my sisters and my cousins. Little butterfly. Sleep little butterfly, sleep in your cocoon. When you emerge tomorrow, you'll fly away so soon. Shake your wings and spread them, hold them proud and high. Let your colours sparkle with the sunbeams as you fly.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Cocoon.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on back to here. CJ Dennis's book, a book for kids, because it's our kids special tonight.
Yep.
This one's called The Traveller. As I rode into Burrumbeet, I met a man with funny feet, and when I paused to ask him why his feet were strange, he rolled his eye and said the rain would spoil the wheat. So I rode on to Burrumbeet. As I rode into Beetaloo, I met a man whose nose was blue, and when I asked him how he got a nose like that, he answered, "What do bullocks mean when they say moo?" So I rode into Beetaloo. As I rode into Ballarat, I met a man who wore no hat, and when I said that he might take cold, he cried, "The hills are quite as old as yonder plains, but not so flat." So I rode on to Ballarat. As I rode into Gundagai, I met a man and passed him by. Without a nod, without a word, he turned and said he'd never heard or seen a man so wise as I. So I rode on to Gundagai. As I rode homeward full of doubt, I met a stranger riding out, a foolish man he seemed to me. "But nay, I am yourself," said he, "just as you were when you rode out." So I rode homeward full of doubt. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like about them. They're like, they're tricky little sort of ones. All right, well, this one's called Swagman, the Swagman. He was old and he was spare. His bushy whiskers and his hair were all fussed up and very grey. He said he'd come a long, long way. And he had a long, long way to go. Each boot was broken at the toe. And he'd a swag upon his back. His billy can, as black, was just the thing for making tea at picnics, so it seemed to me. 'Twas hard to earn a bite of bread, he told me, and he shook his head. And all the little corks that hung around his hat brim danced and swung and bobbed about his face, and when I laughed, he made them dance again. He said they were for keeping flies, the pesky varmints, from his eyes. He called me codger. Now, you see, the best days of your life, said he, but days will come to bend your back, and when they keep you off the track, keep off, young codger, if you can. He seemed a funny sort of man. He told me that he wanted work, but jobs was scarce this side of Burke, and he supposed he'd have to go another 50 miles or so. "Nigh all my life the track I've walked," he said. I liked the way he talked. And, the places he'd seen. I don't know where he'd not been. On every road, in every town, all through the country, up and down. "Young codger, shun the track," he said. Put his hand upon my head I noticed then that his old eyes were very blue and very wise. Aye, once I was a little lad, he said, and seemed to grow quite sad. I sometimes think, when I'm a man, I'll get a good black billy can and hang some corks around my hat and lead a jolly life like that. Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. So I like that. I like the way they just sort of just tells that lovely story about, that sort of gives you that sort of impression of how the guy thought. Yeah. Here's one called Woolloomooloo.
Woolloomooloo?
Yeah, it's a train station in Sydney.
Ah, it sounded familiar.
Yeah, that's all I know. There's a train station there, yeah. If you're from Sydney, too bad, I don't know about it. Here's a ridiculous riddle for you. How many O's are in Woolloomooloo? 2 for the W, 2 for the N, 4 for the L's, then that's plenty then. That's plenty for them, yeah. So that'd be 8. Yeah.
Woolloomooloo. It's a cool word.
Yeah. But it's not as cool as Woolloongabba.
Woolloongabba.
Yeah. Like it's the most misspelt word in Australia.
Really?
Yeah. It's spelled WOOLLONGAEEBA. Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Yeah. WOOLLONGABBA. Woolloongabba. Yeah. And Woolloomooloo, WOOLLOOMOOLOO, something like that. Or WOOLLOOMOOLOO. Yeah. Yeah. That's enough of that, yeah. All right. And okay, well let's go on to the circus, and then you get ready to read out of more Australian poetry for fun, because the circus. Hey there, hoopla! The circus is in town. Have you seen the elephant? Have you seen the clown? Have you seen the dappled? I can't even. There's a missing. It's a thing of it. I can't see what that says. Have you seen the dappled horse? Oh, okay. Well, let's begin again.
Okay. Yes.
Hey there, hoopla! The circus is in town. Have you seen the elephant? Have you seen the clown? Have you seen the dappled horse gallop round the ring? And have you seen the acrobat's dizzy swing? Have you seen the tumbling men tumbling up and down? Hoopla, hoopla, the circus is in town. Hey there, hoopla, here's the circus troupe. Here's the educated dog jumping through the hoop. See the lady blondin with the parasol and fan, the lad upon the ladder and the India rubber man. See the joyful juggler and the boy who loops a loop. Hey, 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 here's the circus troupe.
Very good.
Well,
Well
yeah.
done.
That was not easy. No, I had to focus to get that through that. Yeah, okay, because of course, like it really threw me when I couldn't read that says that horse. Yeah. No, there it is. There's the horse, the picture of it. All right. So we've got
Pixie.
you are going through Pixie O'Harris. Now this book, what's it called? More Australian
Poetry for Fun.
More Australian Poetry for Fun. Now I want to tell everyone about Pixie O'Harris. Pixie O'Harris has got an MBE, a member of the British Empire, that would mean. She was born Rona Olive Harris. Oh, Harris, right, okay. 15th of October 1903, and she died on the 17th of November 1991. She was a Welsh-born Australian artist, newspaper, magazine, book illustrator, author, broadcaster, caricaturist, cartoonist, designer of book plates, sheet music covers and stationery, and children's hospital ward fairy-style mural painter. She became patron to Sydney's Royal Alexandra Children's Hospital in 1977. She originally produced her professional work under the name Pixie O'Hara's, following a printer's error at the Sydney Morning Herald, which printed her name Pixie O'Hara's as instead of should have been Pixie O for whatever the O was, Olive Harris, yeah. So she decided to go on that. She got married in 1928. She got the Order of the British Empire in 1976 and a Queen's Silver Jubilee Medal in 77. So she got all these poetry books here that she did, quite a lot of, and they're all mostly kids' poetry books. And she's got there's an award for dedicated and distinguished service to the development and reputation of Australian children's books. So that's what she really focused in, really doing good children's book, and that's why I guess that one here so much appealed to me, and it's lasted with me for the last nearly 50 years, 48 years. So yeah. All right, what do you got?
I've got wombats.
Mm-hmm.
Every clever wombat, every wombat knows how to dig potatoes with his nose and toes. Sniffle, snuffle, snaffle, in the earth he goes, digging up potatoes with his toes and nose.
Mm-hmm.
And crocodile. Crocodile, crocodile, where is your hat? You just cannot float down a river like that. Your nose is too long and your forehead's too flat. Crocodile, crocodile, where is your hat?
Mm-hmm. This one?
And kookaburra. Kookaburra, kookaburra, up in the tree. I can hear you laughing, laughing at me. I eat cakes and you eat snakes. Kookaburra, kookaburra, up in the tree.
Well, we could get a job on Play School.
I've always liked that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, since I was like this high, since I could watch TV.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, can I do that one?
Which one?
This one.
Yes,
Yes.
do that one. That was
Two little dogs.
anonymous.
Two little dogs went out for a walk and it was windy weather, so for fear the wind should blow them away, they tied their tails together. They tied their tails with a yard of tape, and the wind it blew and blew as sharp and keen as a carving knife, and cut the tape in two. And away, like kites in the air, those two little dogs flew about, till one little dog was blown away and the other turned inside out. I know. And that's by Anonymous. Here's one by Irene Goff. Flies, they take you by surprise. They get in your mouth and get in your eye. Flies, 500,000 tries to swim in the soup and dance on the pies. I spray them and shout at them. You'd think they'd know they haven't any welcome, and I wish they'd go. Yeah, definitely. Oh, flies. There we go. Okay. Have we got another one from Pixie in here?
Yeah, there's the lollipop.
The lollipop.
Lollipops.
Oh, yeah, lollipop city.
Lollipop City is modern and pretty. The people who live there are sweet. There is Peppermint Pop, who keeps a small shop. He knows everyone down the street. He's acquainted indeed with Annette and a seed, who married a jelly bean brown, and he'll tell you, Will Pop, of old Aunt acid drop with her hundreds and thousands uptown. He will talk of Sherbert.
Mm-hmm.
He will talk of Sherbert, his nephew alert, and the mixture he meets every day. He knows old Marzipan, that queer, forgotten foreign man, and the all sorts just over the way. Pop rather looks down on the hard-boiled town when they giggle and whisper and nudge. In ancient elated, he says he's related to that rich old American fudge. Oh, Lollipop Town is quite full of renown, with its bungalows, chocolatey cream, the hotels in a block of Bulgarian rock. In fact, the whole city's a dream.
Yeah. I spent too much time in Lollipop Town, and it made me want to shout, because in Lollipop Town my teeth got rotten and the dentist pulled them all out.
Oh.
No. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's owl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go too long there in Lollipop
Go
Town. No.
Lollipop Town.
Definitely not. Now, what have I got? Have you got any more in there of hers, or? That's it. Well, I don't have too much in here left, but I do have some that I'm going to read. Okay, here. Oh, we're not going to read that one. That's back in the day they did used to write racist stuff. Here you go. This is old Farmer Jack. Old Farmer Jack gazed on his wheat and feared the frost would nip it. Said he, "It's nearly 7 feet. I must begin to strip it." He stripped it with a strip around, he bagged it with a bagger. The bags were all so lumpy that they made the lumper stagger. The lumper staggered up the stack where he was told to stack it, and Jack was paid and put the cash inside his linen jacket. Yeah, that was what he did. What he did. Here we go, the barber. I'd like to be a barber and learn how to shave and clip, calling out, "Next please," and pocketing my tip. All day you'd hear my scissors going snip, snip, snip. I'd lather people's faces and their noses I would grip, while I shaved most carefully along the upper lip. But I wouldn't be a barber if the razor was to slip. Would you? No. The sailor. I'd like to be a sailor bold and bluff, calling out, "Ship ahoy!" in many tones and gruff. I'd learn to box the compass and to reef and tack and luff. I'd sniff and sniff the briny breeze and never get enough. Perhaps I'd chew tobacco or an old black pipe I'd puff, but I wouldn't be a sailor if the sea was very rough. Would you? Maybe. Yeah.
It'd be a fun ride.
Oh, it could be. All right. Here we go, a change of air. Now this is really interesting. Now it's got 2 towns in it. Udnadatta. You might have heard of Udnadatta.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Boobarawi?
No.
Well, there you go.
Boobarawi.
I lived in Boobarawi for 6 weeks in my bus. Oh, yes, it was
Okay.
the...
Was it
it's a tiny little town.
Yeah.
It's got 5 streets that way and 5 streets this way,
Oh,
and it's square.
quite square.
Very. It's got a school up one end, and it's got the really coolest footy fields up the other end. Anyway, I wrote a poem, the Yowie from Booberawi, about Yowie who went to Booberawi.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
So.
like to hear that.
So someone else has wrote a poem with Booberawi, and Booberawi's famous. Okay, a change of air. Now, a man in Udnadatta, he grew fatter and grew fatter, though he hardly had a thing to eat for dinner, while a man in Booberawi often sat and wondered how he could prevent himself from growing any thinner. So, the man from Udnadatta, he came down to Booberawi, where he rapidly grew flatter, and the folk will tell you how he urged the man in Booberawi to go up to Udnadatta, where he lived a while, and now he is considerably fatter. Clever, isn't it?
Very clever. That's
He's clever, yeah. I like it.
I love it.
A change of air, it's called.
Yeah.
Here we go, a bird song. I suspect the kookaburra, for his methods are not thorough in his highly praised campaign against the snakes, and the small birds, one and all, curse him for a cannibal, though he certainly is cheerful when he wakes. Yeah. And we were just at the end, so it's the good night poem. Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
And so, good night. I'm rather tired. Ooh. I hardly thought I'd be required to draw a lot of pictures too. When I arranged to write for you, I found it hard but did my best, and now I need a little rest, and if you're pleased, why, that's all right. I'm rather tired, and so good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night from me, and good night from
Me.
him. Oh, well, you know, pronouns. Him and her. Oh, why not? Yeah, okay. Nullinger. Nully. We from we. Good night from us. Hey. Yeah, and we'll see you tomorrow night here from at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame for Wednesday Words.
Yes.
You should come. Yeah, they should, shouldn't they?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.